Hey guys, check it out. It's Danny Expediting Land. Good morning. Just woke up, unloaded in Ohio, and I want to do a follow-up on that security versus driver video that I just posted. I posted that video because it's a concern to me, and my shoulder's killing me. But anyway, I'm not taking sides with the driver or security. I just want to make it a video because it's pretty much cut and dry. Like there's a trend forming I see between security and drivers. Okay, I worked in both fields, security officer to hospital psych patient department, and I work with police officers quite a bit. Very well known police officers and detectives in Chattanooga area. And my concern is this, that we are getting more intense out here. That video was to show, in my opinion, it was handled too aggressively at the pilot, a driver versus the security. I'm going to tell you how I would have handled it if I was security. Okay, I'd done mobile patrol as well. It was a huge hospital. We patrolled. There was only 4 officers and the supervisor on duty and security director during our shifts when I was working security. But we got special training on how to restrain and detain individuals, the psych patients. It's pretty wild, man. It's a wild job. But to reiterate on that video is because pilot managers want to have the lot cleared and all these things, and that is absolutely understandable. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and beautiful people out in Expediting Land. I forgot the intro, just woke up. But here is how I would handle it. Here's how I would handle it. And this is the truth. You know, first of all, the truck was not blocking the roadway. Drivers were able to get in and out, no issues. I was parked on the very last spot, and then there was there was a vacant area about the length of a semi, and he was out of hours. He had 1 minute left. So he hadn't suddenly parked, shut down, and was a reasonable area and his parking position. I would have asked the driver, sir, you out of hours? He would have probably replied, yes, sir. And I would have said, well, sir, you can stay here with a 10-hour break, or, and get your hours back. An off-duty driver, you can reposition to another parking spot or location. That's all you had to do, man. Shit, man, this guy came out right off the bat, cursing and yelling at the guy. At the end of the video, the driver vented out. Again, as a former security officer, I would have, addressed and handled the issue a lot different. You don't come up to drivers and, by regulations, he's out of hours. He can't move. He didn't even have off-duty driving time. He already used it. So I would have handled it a lot different. That's just my opinion. That's how I would have handled it. Oops, sorry guys. But anyway, I hope everybody's having a good day today. We are sitting here at the pilot, across where I unloaded, and just trying to get our fingers crossed, maybe get a long weekend run. So anyhow, that's how I would have addressed the issue, because in my opinion, the trend is happening all across the country. It looks like the plants and all these other things, and pretty much you got, I don't know, it's just a trend happening. That's what I see. You know what I'm saying? So that's that's my point of view. Why I made the video is because you know, the inevitable is going to happen again. And tensions are building up everywhere, man. It's just the way it is. They're building up everywhere, and it seems to me that, you know, for example, you know, a lot of dispatchers don't know what drivers go through. A lot of security officers don't understand what a driver goes through. And I happen to be a former security officer. I worked there 6 years, and you know, and yeah, I worked in both fields, so I can relate to both individuals and how to handle the situation. But in my opinion, security officers need an extra training to properly handle situations. I mean, like I said, the driver was parked on the end of the row. I was on the last spot, and there was no issue of blocking the passageway for trucks. The drivers were able to enter and exit with no problem. So, you know, I would have handled it different. I would have approached him. I was on duty, mobile patrol. Asked how many hours he had, whatever the case may be. Okay, driver, stay here for your 10-hour break. When your 10-hour break, you can move. Or, you know, put off duty driving time and just simply reposition yourself. You don't even have to do that. It's in a parking lot, for crying out loud. Shit. They act like the you know, I can understand if the driver's being rude and cussing first and being aggressive at the very beginning, but he wasn't. He was a early 60s-year-old old-timer trucker, and he was exhausted. He was just exhausted. And you know, you just can't expect a good outcome. And at these plants too, you have that freight and you're going to deliver or you're going to pick up, whichever. These security officers got to understand, and all of them are a-holes. When I was a security officer, I've always, to the best of my ability, 90% of the time, obviously psych patients are different. You know, dealing with that kind of situation, it's just different. And, you know, this is just a simple parking issue. It's nothing huge. And, you know, a lot of these drivers, I hate to say that inevitable is going to happen, you know, one day. The reason why, again, I'm doing a follow-up video, because I've seen that video that went viral in the trucking world with the driver and his wife got beat up by security at a plant because the driver didn't take out his hands out of his pocket. That's unprofessional to me as a former security officer. You know, and the guy got beat up pretty bad, and his wife got injured. It was absolutely uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for, and I almost seen it happen again right next to my truck. So that's why I'm making awareness that, you know, and I hope as a security company or a security officer watches this videos and understands, man, we're all out here working. Whether you're security at a truck stop, security at a hospital, security officer at a school or a mall, it doesn't really matter. And don't get me wrong, security officers are lacking, and police officers, we're understaffed, and I know that tension grows, but you know, dealing with a parking issue like that, just had to simply let him take his 10-hour break so he could get his hours back. Because you make a driver move out of hours, it's against regulations, and he gets pulled over, whatever the case may be. And most of us are electronic logs, or I don't, you know, there's probably some few paper logs out there, but that's what we're up against, man. As a lack of understanding and communication between security personnel and drivers. It's nonsense, man. You know, like I said, I would have handled it. I would approach the driver, ask him how many hours he has left. He doesn't have enough to move. ask him to take his 10-hour break, then relocate, and then I would have solved the problem. I mean, that security guard went way overboard, man. He was a younger fella, a greenhorn, I call him in security. But man, I didn't agree with their approach, how it was handled, because like I said, the driver was extremely nice to me. I could tell I have a good judgment of personality. When I was doing security, I could tell this guy is going to be aggressive right off the bat, and that's when I would become blunt and direct. And that includes drivers too. I could pretty much tell an aggressive driver, professional driver, and all those wonderful things. But anyhow, just want to get everybody's thoughts. I appreciate all the feedback and support so far, man. I really do appreciate it. It's awesome. Really do appreciate it. I'm getting up there. It's gonna take some time. But also, forgot to mention, when a security officer communicates with the driver, and he's going to be staying there for a 10-hour break, the security officer, go back in and tell the pilot manager what's going on, because all the, in this particular situation, all the spots were monitored, obviously, with cameras, which is a good thing. Excuse me. But you don't go ranting, raving, cussing, and going on and all this other bullshit. But parking spots were full. So the driver had to make a sudden parking stop and position the truck the best way he could, and he used good judgment. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the security guys watching this video, and all drivers, be aware and have more understanding with each other, man. You're a security officer, you're approaching a driver. I'm a former security officer again. Approach these drivers, find out the situation. I can understand if he was totally blocking the passageway again, but find out what the situation is before you start being aggressive with the driver, man. I'm a former security officer, again, psych patient department in a hospital. One hell of a crazy ass ride, and I gained a lot of good experiences, and we need some more understanding with security personnel and drivers. That's all. I'm signing off here, Daddy Expediting Land. EL, Expediting Land Apparel, got to add real quick. I'm still in the process. As soon as I get home time, I'm going to get all the t-shirts sent out. And it's okay. Luckily, everything went okay. I finally found a company who's going to produce all my apparel for me locally, so there's going to be no issue there. Bear with me on that, guys. This is Danny of Expediting Land, signing off. I hope everybody is staying warm out there. If you're in Texas and all the southern states, it's warming up. We got one more month of winter. March is a very unpredictable month of winter. So be safe, stay focused, I'm trying to wake up myself. But the follow-up here on the security and driver video was posted. I just wanted to bring that up and let everybody know how it should have been handled, coming from a former security officer. This is Danny, Expediting Land, signing off. See ya!